Hey everybody, good Tuesday evening. It's Chief Meteorologist Brad Penovich here with your live weather impact here on a Tuesday evening. It is October 21st. So we've had a little bit of rain. It's something we haven't seen a lot of lately, but it hasn't amounted to much, which seems like more of a common theme. If we look outside, we do have a mix of sun and clouds, and as fast as this front is moving into the region right now, it's moving out almost as quickly. So we had some showers that looked promising on radar, but all that has kind of moved off to the east. Our quad box here shows from Monroe to Lake Norman over towards Charlotte. And look at Dallas, Cameron. That's gorgeous. So that's behind the front, basically starting to see the sun break out there, which I'm excited for because we're going to talk about Comet Lemmon tonight, and hopefully we'll have some chances to see it. That would help if the skies would clear by about 8 o'clock. We'll see what we can do for you. Let me show you the radar, though. This will kind of show you what's going on out there tonight because the radar looked more impressive than actually what fell from the sky. I'll show you the radar loop here, and you can see there are some showers out there, but as expected, they kind of fell apart as they pushed off to the east. That wasn't totally unsurprising because the air over us is really dry, so I would anticipate a lot of this is going to just fall apart, and that's kind of what we've been seeing this evening as they've been moving in. We'll kind of zoom in on a couple areas. Around Mecklenburg County, there's a few showers here and there, but they're not amounting to a whole lot. Everything is kind of pushing off to the east. We'll loop this a couple of times. I don't know why it's going so slow. There we go. Kind of a little better view there. You can see how slow those are, or how quickly I should say they're moving east. I quickly wanted to pull up the rain forecast here, see how much actually fell out there, because I'm going to quickly look at the rain totals from today just to show you how little actually fell. So these are the official readings, obviously. 7/100ths of an inch, 2/10 there around Monroe. So just not a lot of rain, but at least something has moved through the area in the last 24 hours. The water view shows the whole front kind of pushing through the area, and we'll show you what this looks like on the wide view. I'll kind of draw the front in here. This cold front is kind of back here still, so it's like right there. So even though the clouds and showers are well ahead of it, you're not seeing a whole bunch of clouds or showers closer to the actual front. And just to give you an idea that the front is not really that cool yet because the air behind it's still pretty warm, you're going to have to go a little bit further west to see those cooler temperatures. And I'll kind of show you the wider view here to give you an idea. It's really once you get to the Ohio Valley where the cool air kind of settles in. So tomorrow will be in the 70s still, but the morning lows will definitely be milder when you wake up in the morning. So for the evening hours, if you're heading out there this evening, after sunset, you're going to check out Comet Lemmon. We'll have a stray shower here this evening. I'm going to keep the rain chances pretty low, but clouds will probably be breaking up a little bit. So remember, the comet's tiny part of the sky. You just need a clear spot there to see it. It doesn't have to be the whole sky. Sometimes when we get these astronomical events, people are like, I need completely clear skies. No, it just needs to be clear there. It's like when we get an eclipse. It only needs to be clear where the sun or the moon is, not the whole sky. So there's going to be some chances. And again, if it's a brief look, you probably could get a hole in the cloud deck to see it. Now, something we're going to keep an eye on for tomorrow, and this is something I talked about, I think Tim and I have talked about a little bit, the wildfire danger going into the fall. The winds today have gusted as high as 26 tomorrow. I think we'll see similar wind gusts, but it'll be really dry behind this front. Tonight, we dropped to about 50, but tomorrow, with full sunshine and 70s and that front moving in, that's a really dry, windy day. So dew points are going to be in the 20s and 30s. Relative humidities will kind of max out a little bit, around 25-30%. So that's kind of the perfect ingredients for wildfire danger. And remember, the conditions for wildfires are made by nature, but the wildfires themselves are 90% of the time caused by man. So just be careful. I would definitely not recommend any outdoor burning. Watch the fire pits, the barbecue grills, obviously. Don't discard smoking items. And one of the other ways that fires start a lot is dragging of chains from boats and trailers on the interstate or roads that can give off sparks, and then sparks from mufflers from UTVs and ATVs on trails. So think about if you're going to be off-road and you're going into the woods, maybe setting up your deer stand for the season, just be careful that muffler touching some of that grass because that can start a fire as well. So let's talk about the comet. Last night we talked about this. Tonight it's going to still be visible with binoculars, a telescope, or camera, but remember, you can't see it with the naked eye. I've had a lot of people ask me, where do I look? Look in the northwest sky, but you won't see it unless you have help, okay? It's too dim, and we have too much light pollution here to see it. It's going to max out at like a 4 magnitude, which is right on the borderline of being visible in the darkest of locations in a city or suburban setting, which based on the census, 80% of Americans live in those type of settings. You're not going to have great viewing. But if you're in a really dark location, it's worth a look. But just take out your smartphone, aim it, kind of use that night mode, and you'll be able to pick it up. And I'll show you with Tim coming up in a minute. This was a picture I got. Now, granted, I have a fancier telescope, smart telescope we use. This is about 15 images. This is my first attempt. I actually think it's a pretty bad picture. I'm going to try a better image with better stacking, a little bit better focus, and we'll try to get this fine-tuned a little bit. But it was pretty easy for my telescope to find, but I could track the exact location, and the telescope actually tracks it as it moves. Remember, it's moving independently of the stars behind it and of the Earth, so sometimes it's hard to image these because usually when you're taking astrophotography, you're going with the Earth's rotation. This is moving in a different direction, so it is difficult to kind of pick up. So tonight, will we be able to see it with binoculars if we can clear out the sky? So by 7, you see the front pushing through. So I think there's chance, especially if you live west of I-77, skies will clear out pretty quickly, and we'll be dry the next couple of days. So if we don't see it tonight, don't worry. Like I said, it's going to be visible all the way through next week. So this is around 8 o'clock. This is when I viewed it last night. So if you wait till 8, there's enough breaks in the clouds there. I think you get a chance to see it. So it's worth definitely a look tonight. If not tonight, how about tomorrow? How about Thursday? How about there's going to be plenty of opportunities. And with the sunset coming a little bit earlier every night, tonight it's 7:41 or 6:41. Excuse me, 6:41, which is coming up here in a couple minutes. It's getting darker sooner, so the opportunities to view it are increasing. Now, let's talk long term, right? What are we going to see long term? I do think we'll see a pattern change next week. Not this week. It's going to stay cold and dry for the rest of the week. But look what happens is going into next week. I'm going to pause this. We're going to go out through Saturday, Sunday, no issues, cool weekend. Look at this big low coming up on Monday. So some rain there on Monday. We go into Tuesday. That moves away. Another system comes down Wednesday, Thursday. And that looks pretty chilly. And don't look now in the mountains there. That is a little wintry mix there. So that's an upper low, and the reason you see that, upper lows bring cold air aloft, so above 4,000, 5,000 feet, hey, we might see some wintry weather. That's not unheard of with an upper low, and it is mid to late October now, so don't be shocked. We see some wintry precip there, so that's something to get excited for if you're a winter weather fan. Look at that, and that moves up the coast and on the backside. So, yeah, that looks really exciting right there for rain more than anything. So that's going to be a cold rain. You get the idea. Next week looks to be a pretty interesting pattern shaping up. And a quick look at the forecast for the weekend. Just a quick look there. Forecast this weekend, looking at temperatures in the 60s, as I said. And we'll go real fast to the Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast because we got a lot to get to tonight. I'm just going to go out 10 days in the future because this will show you everything all at once. Cool weekend, but look at next week. A lot of rain around and temperatures in the 60s, morning lows in the 40s. So it could be a very, very good pattern change for us next week. All right, stick around. We got a lot more to talk about today. Actually, a lot going on. We'll talk Comet. We'll talk fire danger. All that's all coming up with Tim Buckley coming up right after this break.